Welcome back to CIA Declassified, the broadcast dedicated to dissecting the classified documents that reveal how intelligence agencies sought to weaponize the fundamental forces of nature itself. Today, we leave behind the sky and the human body to focus on the earth beneath our feet. We address the chilling fact that U.S. intelligence explored the possibility of achieving a kind of ultimate strategic leverage, the ability to induce natural disasters using the planet's own power against an adversary. We are analyzing the CIA's involvement in seismic manipulation and covert geophysical warfare, treating the geological stability of a region not as a constant but as a strategic target that could be subtly destabilized or violently ruptured. Our primary evidence is the declassified file CIA-RDP80-00921R000100020008-2. This highly sensitive report is titled, quote, Geological Resonance and Tactical Earthquake Induction, end quote. It confirms that specialized geophysics and engineering resources were tasked with evaluating the theoretical and engineering feasibility of influencing active seismic fault zones through the injection of specific resonant energy waves. The context here is the conservation of strategic ambiguity. If a massive seismic event occurs in a hostile nation, destroying critical infrastructure or military targets, and the cause appears entirely natural, the act of war is untraceable and deniable, providing the ultimate strategic weapon. The file's existence confirms that the raw power of the planet's tectonic movement was viewed as a latent weapon requiring technological initiation. The analysis focuses on two primary areas: resonant energy injection for tectonic destabilization, and seismic signature analysis for differentiating induced events from natural ones. Let's drill down into the rigorous and ethically devastating theoretical methodology documented in this file. The analysts demanded a path to manipulate the Earth's structure using its own energy. The file required an intense focus on geological resonance. The research centered on the concept of tectonic tuning. Just as a singer can shatter a glass by hitting its natural frequency, a fault line, which is a massive zone of stored potential energy, has natural vibrational frequencies. The goal was to identify and generate a specific low-frequency, high-power acoustic or seismic wave that, when injected into an already stressed fault, would cause the natural friction holding the plates together to momentarily fail, triggering the release of stored energy. The key challenge was localized energy delivery. The theoretical methods for achieving this resonant energy injection included massive ground-based arrays, potentially using high-powered pulse plasma technology, or deep-sea deployment of specialized sonic emitters near known active fault zones. The document outlines conceptual systems that would focus energy precisely on the lock segments of a fault, maximizing instability. The document includes conceptual specifications for establishing targeted magnitude prediction, the ability to not just trigger an event, but to predict the resulting Richter scale magnitude based on the energy input and the geological stress state of the target area. This confirms the research was purely focused on maximizing destructive force with precision. Crucially, the file dedicated an entire section to seismic deception and attribution. This is the key to the strategic value. It explores the differences between the waveform signatures of a naturally occurring earthquake, which release energy across a wide spectrum, and an induced event, which might show an initial highly tuned input frequency signature followed by the natural rupture. The agency's research was aimed at masking the initial input signature, ensuring the resulting event appears indistinguishable from a catastrophic natural disaster. We must now examine the primary finding, the agency's assessment of the concept's potential. This is a critical excerpt regarding the confirmation of viability. Quote, theoretical models indicate that the localized injection of resonant energy calibrated to the frequency of redacted fault structures provides a non-conventional means of tactical seismic induction, resulting in a predictable and irreversible release of tectonic stress. End quote. And then from a section discussing strategic deniability, we have this quote: a successful deniable seismic event offers strategic leverage unmatched by conventional or nuclear arms, as the resulting damage is catastrophic, immediate, and naturally attributed to geophysical forces. End quote. This is the true meaning of the file. It states that geological stability is an exploit waiting to be triggered. The agency saw an opportunity to utilize the destructive forces of the planet as a remote, unattributable strategic weapon. The focus shifted from how do we destroy their infrastructure to how do we make the Earth destroy their infrastructure. We now address the chilling operational implications of this file, the deployment of the tectonic weapon in strategic maneuvering. The most extensive redactions occur in the section titled Long-Term Environmental and Climate Impact, as well as International Legal Frameworks for Covert Geological Intervention. This suggests detailed discussions around modeling the long-term unpredictable environmental shifts, e.g. changes in weather patterns, tidal waves, caused by massive artificially induced seismic events, and the international conventions that explicitly forbid environmental modifications as a weapon of war. Why redact environmental impact? Because this section likely documents the acknowledgement that the research constitutes a risk to the global ecosystem, demanding careful internal justification. The concept discussed is the creation of a seismic deterrence capability. The system allows a nation to hold critical infrastructure hostage, knowing that geological stability can be remotely revoked. The file details the requirement for complex, high-power generating facilities and specialized geological mapping to identify optimal targets. The weapon is only effective if the target region is already seismically active and prone to instability. The strategic weaponization of this research is clear. It is a geophysical dominance weapon that fundamentally changes the nature of strategic conflict. A state possessing this ability gains the ability to field a weapon that uses natural planetary forces, making any resulting disaster appear as an act of God. We conclude our analysis of this file. The existence and scope of the research confirm the U.S. intelligence treated the development of seismic manipulation and induced disasters as an actionable, high-priority strategic objective. The implication is that analysis moved into the sphere of applied planetary engineering, seeking to exploit the natural vulnerabilities of the Earth for the sake of perpetual intelligence advantage. This research represents the ultimate weaponization of geology. If this documented truth has opened your mind to the technological boundaries explored by those in power, we require your continued support. First, like this episode and leave us a detailed 5-star review wherever you listen. This is how the analysis exposes the ethical depths of these programs. Second, share this episode with someone obsessed with plate tectonics, seismic activity, or non-conventional energy weapons. We need more sharp minds analyzing these documented facts. Next, we move from manipulating the Earth's crust to manipulating the deepest layers of human perception. We will analyze the CIA's classified research into psycho-optic manipulation and targeted hallucination technology. The agency's attempt to develop non-lethal focus energy emitters capable of inducing complex target-specific visual and auditory hallucinations in adversarial personnel. For our next investigation, we will dissect CIA document RTB83-0059, 5R000100020009-1, a profoundly unsettling file concerning the strategic use of illusory command. What were the core challenges in achieving localized non-disruptive signal injection into the visual or auditory cortex? How did the analyst plan to leverage this technology to create panic, confusion, or even compliance through artificial compelling sensory input? And what does this reveal about the extreme psychological measures taken to control the mind from the outside? Tune in next for our episode on psycho-optics and induced hallucinations. Until then, remember, maintain your vigilance, question the ground beneath your feet, and keep your critical thinking sharp. I'll see you in the archives.